Hello, and thank you so very, very much. I went back and looked at that video that we did today on Dream Team, and I could not hear myself. So I'm just kind of redoing this after reviewing it and pulling some things apart. So I certainly appreciate that. Thank you, everybody, for your patience. I started by saying that I love what Lorado had shared, agreeing with good, and that this is being in alignment with good, being aligned with compassion on our journey as we evolve into being able to sustain unconditional love for one another, right? She also talked about choice, and indeed, agreeing with good is a choice. It's our choice. It's a personal choice, and we make it at a personal level. And these choices can emanate energies from us, like love, light, and peace, for the lifting of each other, and obviously for the lifting overall of humanity, which is something that we're trying to do in Unpassive. So it's good. It's good. Now, Mr. Mufara, our incredible CEO, knows and understands that there are choices and we need to act on those. And it reminded us many times of those choices, that we have choices and that we have the ability to act on them. And specifically in 2018, Mr. Mafar made a choice to include us in something that would later become, a pretty big movement. And when we started, we were going to be a small, relatively small anyway, marketing platform that would have, maybe 5 or 6 products, I guess. I don't know. But because the world economies by then had begun to rapidly undergo transformation through what we call digital technologies, right? A digital transformation, the unpassive vision changed, took on new directions, and took on some rather new dimensions as well. And this was all in keeping with what I call a new reality, namely that every company is now a digital powered software uh, or a software powered company rather. Information technology products and software functionality has spread through every aspect of every business, from the back end processes all the way to those innovations that our customers and users see and interact with, the GUIs and the graphic interfaces, the screens. And staying competitive in a world economy now requires digital transformation that is not only capable of keeping pace with an ever increasing demand for newer and faster technologies, but it's got to also keep up with the releases and the updates and be able to offer that technology as it becomes available. Now, OnPassive has reached that level, has made some changes, and has incorporated those changes into its corporate philosophy and operational foundations. Those changes became apparent about halfway through 2019 when OnPassive began its digital transformation from one of marketing by taking on the characteristics of an information technology company. We didn't lose marketing all the way, but we shifted, right? The information technology space includes companies that produce software, hardware, and in some cases, semiconductor equipment. And companies like that also provide internet-related services. Following the shift from marketing to a more comprehensive information technology, right, we added artificial intelligence to the mix and became an artificial intelligence information technology company. This was in 2019. And since then, we've been riding the wave of developmental momentum that has had us becoming not only a respected global contender for world markets, right, a leader as well in them, or we're a leader as well. So in anticipation of this, Mr. Mufari has often said that OnPassive would participate in and contribute to every sector on the planet. So I wanted to go over that and maybe get us to understand that a little more, okay? The global economy is based on trade, and that allows countries to get resources that aren't typically produced domestically. Currently in the global economy, there are 3 primary sectors. The first sector is one of raw materials and such, and OnPassive is active in this by bringing resources together that make physical products. And well, yeah, we'll leave it at the physical products. The secondary sector is mainly involved with construction or manufacturing and utilities, actually. OnPassive is active in this sector through the manufacture of physical products previously mentioned. And I would expect that we're also going to be involved in the energy products and utilities as well, because Mr. MUFAREH talks often about sustainable energy and sustainability in general. Now, the third sector is a services sector. It's like transportation, distribution, and sales. Now, passive is active in this sector because of the sales and distribution of products, as well as the physical and digital ones that we have in the OES. So we're solid, very solidly involved in every sector, every primary sector anyway. And in looking at the components of on passive, which we'll do in a minute, kind of try to keep in mind how each of these, or each of the legs of on passive, or components of on passive, if you will, fit into these particular sectors. First and foremost, we've got what we call, our offices, the brick and mortar offices. They're located on several continents. They're included in Dubai and Egypt and Singapore, and obviously our IT hub in India, the US, things like that. They're physical, concrete. We also have data centers. We've got one that we know of right now. We have more on the way that we expect to learn about, three more probably in this quarter. And these assets provide web services, data processing, networking and storage, management, and even distribution within businesses of these types of things. And the goal, for us anyway, is to create a global net of data centers that will help us be self-sufficient as well as increase profitability, especially since we intend to compete directly with at least two of the top web service providers on the planet. Now, we've also got innovation labs, and these are research and development spaces that are, we are totally steeped in AI and machine learning. These labs employ techs and developers, inventors, engineers, brainards, and they're creating new products based on new technologies and innovations. They're developing solutions to existing challenges, as well as deploying new technologies that provide new solutions as well. We have manufacturing. On passive is actually producing physical products, right, in factories. And a lot of these are the results of the work being done in the innovation labs. The technologies coming out of there and that sort of thing. We also have obviously digital products. The on-passive ecosystem is the tip of the iceberg, so to speak, regarding what on-passive is, has, and can do. And that's what most people see. The OES is a software as a service platform. So that's squarely in the services sector. We also have what we call strategic partnerships or collaborative agreements, right? We've got about a dozen of them now. We're continually forming these, and these are world-class partnerships that we've developed. They're the type of partnerships that allow success on a grander scale because we can now access customer bases, and these partnerships widen our reach, so to speak, globally, along with expanding our target audience, which is pretty doggone big, At any rate, through these, we're able to enter new markets as well. We have on passive branding, and we see this happening all the time. It's all over the place. It's on a global scale. And obviously, the big three that come to mind immediately are the Burj Khalifa in Dubai. It's the world's tallest building. It's, I think, about a half-mile high, and we've done laser light shows on it for more than a year. We have the on-passive station, which is a rapid transit station on the red line of the Dubai Metro, obviously in Dubai, and it's one of the busiest metro stations there, and covers 700,000 passengers a day or something like that, from tons of 160, 70, 80 countries. It's just it's massive. And by the way, it's also completely automated. So that's an interesting little fact. The Eye of Dubai, which is the largest Ferris wheel in the world, 840 feet, I think, features a lot of projection shows that OnPassive is doing. And through all this, I mean, OnPassive is continually adding and growing these components. And in doing so, allows us to develop and maintain what I think is clearly a technologic superpower status. Most companies never reach the level that we're at now, and no other company on the planet, as far as I'm concerned, is going to ever offer you more value for the cost than OnPassive. But this is really just the beginning. OnPassive's impact goes a bit further than the value that we can tangibly put our hands on. It goes into the unseen, and by this I'm just talking about the goal of lifting humanity, and just sharing compassion through compassionate action and that sort of thing, which kind of relates to lifting the human consciousness via the human heart, if you will. And it's going to be doing all this by providing a global net of abundance to its members, to us, right? And it will be in amounts sufficient that we'd be able to share with others, beginning with those around us and expanding outward, to the world, just like OnPassive is. So in essence, 2023, as Mr. MUFAREH had said, was a problem-solving and troubleshooting year. But it was also a year fraught with a lot of activities that were aimed at the advancement of humanity. And we can expect a lot more of that type of thing this year. And in spending time with us the other day, Mr. MUFAREH actually told us again, that everything in life is a choice and we need to act on it. And in this, we're all unique in the value that we bring to the table, right? And with OnPassive, we've got some guaranteed success mechanisms in place that are all going to work for us, which is to say, I think the analogy was that we're riding the rail to success, seated comfortably on the OnPassive train, and we are each significant in how we participate in rolling out OnPassive's vision for lifting humanity from our own level. And we make these choices personally. We make them ourselves. So Mr. MUFAREH also talked to us the other week saying, that success is determined by what we do every day and that everything happens for a reason. I certainly agree with that. I believe that things unfold in our lives as something I call synchronicity, and these are options that we act on, and it doesn't have to be hard. Synchronicities are organizing principles that connect events and opportunities in our lives, right? They can be simple, everyday things, accompanied by a desire or an excitement to do them. In other words, these are things that are going to appeal to us. Taking a walk, going to lunch with somebody, tipping the waitress nicely or the waiter nicely, reading a good book, taking a different route, sitting in the sun, taking a swim, relaxing, anything that we'd do on a normal day. The idea is just to look at whatever options are available, no matter what they are, and choose the option or opportunity that's most appealing to us at that moment, the most exciting, curious, or maybe interesting, perhaps, whatever. Just choose on it and act on it. That's what we call following our passion, which we talk about a lot. We've talked about these things before: passion and compassionate action, right? And mixing these terms and mixing these activities with technology in OnPassive is where we get the AI with heart mantra that we talk about. That's how we did it. We mixed the technology with the will, the drive, and the resources and the desire to lift humanity, by doing the right thing. And so it goes. More and more things come to us that we can act on, and choice after choice after choice, we're led along this path or journey that we call life. Now, the underlying premise here is that it's not that hard to act on our passion. We just simply need to pay attention to the simple things in life, at least in the beginning, and then act on them to the best of our ability. If we do, we're going to be in a continual state of success, of always succeeding. And of course, that's what we're expecting through OnPassive. We are expecting big things. And I am expecting that we're going to see them shortly, many of them probably this quarter. Of course, we know that things are going on in the background that we have not been privy to, and Mr. MUFAREH has indicated that some of these are game changers. Now, because we're in a microcosm of humanity, meaning, we're a sampling of the whole, like I think I used the term taking a gallon of water from the sea, the gallon of water and the sea are both made of the same thing. So that's kind of how we are with On Passive, right? We represent a sampling of humanity. So what I'm saying, as a microcosm, some of our members are going to choose to misbehave. Now, whether they do that purposefully or not, whether it's talking negatively or misleading others, bad marketing, maybe they're just sitting on the fence in a bad way. Who knows? Whatever. It's all the same. And the thing is, it's going to come home to roost, right? It's going to stifle their progress. And we would do well not to focus on it, because when we put negative behavior out or we place our energies of focus on it, that's what we're going to get back at some point. As reaping what we sow. It's a universal law. And I guess what I'm saying is, if we put negative behavior out, we're going to get negative behavior back. If we focus on negative behavior, it's going to amplify it and it's going to make it bigger, and that's not going to be good either. So because we live in a polar universe, though, right, that also means, that when we put out compassion and compassionate action into the world, we're going to get that back, right? So it can be good. But again, Ash talked about things that we can expect this year. He had indicated that we can expect greater communication between the members in the company, but he wasn't really sure what form that was going to take. But he was expecting at least once or twice a week to provide some updates and to have a way to hang on to them or archive them in a way so that we can go back and review them, whenever we need to. He also said that we've got some things coming out of Egypt, information, technology, and stuff out of the education field. He had indicated we developed a new O product and made it a point to say that it wasn't Academy, I think. But anyway, that's done. It's ready to go, and then we're just waiting on it to be announced. Don't forget about the A-bomb. He talked about that, but that was something that was actually done in November last year, and we're just waiting for it to be announced. He talked about some other things too, he talked about how we're in more than 225 countries, how staffers and developers worked more than 400,000 hours, on passive stuff, how we put hundreds of corporate events and webinars and development of content through about 125,000 hours of coding. And I think he even said there was about 250,000 webinars done by charter members. So, I mean, we've done a lot of things last year, a lot of record breaking. We also opened new locations in Egypt and Abu Dhabi, Singapore, and others, I'm sure. And of course, again, don't forget on Passive Station, because we've got the largest or the biggest structure wrap on Sheikh Zayed Road there. Not to mention the laser light shows in the Eye of Dubai and all of that. We also launched O Connect and O Tracker, and they've got 1 million users. They're engaging well over 1 million websites with millions of impressions, all of them engaging at that level. One of my favorites was that we did the GuideTex Global as a strategic partner, and we were awarded the distinguished recognition for having the best booth. I mean, there were 6,000 participants in that, right? There were 1,400 or more speakers, and we walked away with best booth. I mean, that's got to tell you something. And don't forget our flagship product of the heart, Obless. Last year, we donated to the UAE, the Emirates. They have a program called Bridges of Giving, and we spent more than 100 work hours with them, delivering thousands of packages. I mean, when you see the videos, they're literally truckloads. So yeah, we had a relatively small beginning that has seen monumental changes in both direction and momentum all the way and up to, including and through 2023. And that was obviously by far the most challenging year that we've had. Of course, challenges were expected, big ones, but not really at the level that we saw. Now, Mr. MUFAREH talked about some of these challenges, and he speculated a bit as to why we even had them to start with. I'm not going to get into that. we touched a little bit on it a little bit ago, but I guess, I will say that there were also some bad actors within, the IT sector and some big companies and government, and just, people are out there that don't want to see us succeed for various reasons. So the bottom line is that unpassive is above average, that we are the correction to the corruption, and our AI with heart is geared toward making the best global impact and will lift humanity as a true beacon of hope. And that's going to be our legacy. For those reasons and quite a few more, we're offering solutions that are more ethical, and our users are users. They're not the used like you see in other areas of the IT sectors. We have undoubtedly made some mistakes, as Mr. MUFAREH talked about, as any company will, and that's okay. And since our company has risen faster and surged farther more quickly, we may have been experiencing some of those greater challenges as a result of that. But we have certainly never committed any kind of crimes or done anything damaging or harmful to our members or humanity. Of course, we all learn from mistakes and from the mistakes of others, and we could certainly tweak, how it is, what we do, and how we do it. Regardless, the model that we're building here with OnPassive gives access to a single platform, which is AI driven and automated, and it allows a way to benefit abundantly from the company through its monetization, right? You can earn money with it. It's the best model on the planet. And Mr. MUFAREH has also indicated that if he had to do it again, he certainly would. Not only once, but he'd do it again and again and again, as he said in the video, right? As a matter of fact, he'd do it for reasons that include things that we don't even know about. So for now, though, we've completed what he called phase one. That's what we're coming out of. So the foundation has been laid, and the challenges faced have been instrumental in expressing and demonstrating our resolve as we announce our arrival to the world and give the world a peek of what's really coming down the pike, so to speak. As a result, we should be having a lot smoother second and third phases and subsequent phases, because we have learned from our mistakes and the mistakes of others, and we're willing to learn more and to love and to change. And that's our legacy: healing the planet, lifting humanity through a global network of members that live day in and day out with compassion, that engage in compassionate action for the greater good, and that are active participants in a benevolent evolution of mankind. That's our legacy. It'll happen. It's happening this year. And my guess is we're going to be creating some generational wealth for a long time. So thank you so much. Again, I'm sorry that other video wasn't as loud as it should be. And I am just grateful that I could redo this and get this to you. Thank you. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful OnPassive evening. Bye.